Welcome to Unit 3, Lesson 2 of Principles of Health Science. Today, let's look at the organizational structure of a hospital. So the first thing that we have to define are some facilities in hospitals. So these facilities provide a wide range of jobs. But what are some facilities? Well, we have hospitals. So these are healthcare facilities, not just hospital organization. We have hospitals, there are long-term care, there are clinics, so medical offices. There's going to be dental offices, optical care for your eyes, ER, and there's home health care, labs, and hospice. Hospice is what people, usually elderly, but they can be non-elderly, so younger people, they're put on hospice because they are destined to pass, but they want to live the best life they can. So they are given home care, and the nurses usually come to their house and care for them. And then there is mental health care. And rehab. And occupational health and physical therapy and school health. So occupational therapist helps people with things of daily living, so activities of daily living, like if they can't hold up a glass of water. Physical therapists will help with more things, so it's not just occupational, normal daily living things. And then there is school health, so your school nurses, maybe the school athletic trainers, or school psychiatrists, school psychologists, school health, social workers. So those are some facilities in the hospital. Now, there is an organizational structure to the hospital, and this refers to the levels of management in a hospital. So there are multiple levels of management that we'll look at, but these levels allow efficient management of hospital departments. But the biggest thing you need to understand is that large hospitals have complex organizational systems. This will be a question. And then the smaller hospitals tend to have simpler organizational structures. And hospital departments are grouped in order to promote efficiency of a facility. So let's write that hospital departments are grouped equals efficiency. Grouping is done through similarity of duties. So groups are people who do similar work. Or if you look back to Unit 1, they're people with similar group goals. Okay, so what are some groups that we can look at? Well, there is going to be speech and language pathology. So pathology is the study of disease, and speech and language are speech and language. So they help identify and evaluate and treat speech and language disorders or diseases. So And then there is psychology, so medical psychology, which are concerned with the well-being and mental health of people. And this can be a wide range of medical providers or allied health professionals. So there could be a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a therapist, and a lot of different things. And then there are social services, which are going to be people who help with the financial or community resources. So this is different from psychology, which are going to be the medical staff. And then social services are going to be like your social workers and family counselors, that kind of thing. And then you're going to have pharmacy, which is going to be the drugs and medication people. This could be a pharmacy assistant, a pharmacist, and all of that. And then there's going to be dietary, so dietitians and all those people, nutritionists. And then there's going to be sports medicine, so this could be a whole ton of careers. You can have sports medicine doctors, you can have athletic trainers, you can have physical therapists that work specifically with athletes, and all of that. And then there's finally nursing. So there can be a lot of different types of nurses, and that goes into nursing. Down into different categories. And so first we're going to start off with the diagnostic services because they are easiest to understand. Diagnostic services help to diagnose diseases, so this is going to be your radiologists and medical imaging people, and it's also going to be your emergency medicine doctors, emergency medicine staff, so diagnostic. Examples are radiology, those are diagnostic services. Now there is going to be support services. So these provide support for the entire hospital. They're not providing support hands-on with patients all the time, but they are providing support to the staff and even the patients with central supply, housekeeping, so support for hospital. So some examples would be the cleaning staff, so janitary people. And there's going to be central supply, which supply the hospital with orders and supplies. And there's going to be biomedical technology, which are going to build and repair and design medical equipment. Now, there's also a traditional structure for the hospital, but let's continue with our list. So there's going to be admin services to the hospital, administrative. And what do these people do? Well, admin in the more common sense are the bosses, and hospital administrators are going to be your CEOs and your vice presidents, and they kind of run the hospital, so they oversee budgeting and finance and establish policies. So they care about money and they establish policies. And they do public relations stuff. And they are considered to run the hospital, but who actually runs the hospital, debated upon. And then informational services are going to be your admissions and billing and people who allow the medical records and things to be documented and processed. So this is going to be like your IT department. So info and admit. They're considering money, and they have human resources and computer information systems. Computer stuff. Okay. So that is informational, and then they have the therapeutic services, and these provide treatment to patients. So therapeutic services are going to be your hands-on doctors and nurses, physical therapists, and all of that. And they provide the treatment. And then let's define PT and OT again. So physical therapists are going to be large muscle mobility treatment people. So large muscle mobility is movement. And then there is the OT, which are gonna be fine daily living movements. So help with fine motor skills. And these are daily living. So those are the types of services in a hospital. Now, there is going to be a almost pyramid of a hierarchy towards how these services are going to be placed in a hospital setting. So first thing you want to do is have the board. So the biggest people in the hospital are going to be the board members. And the board are probably going to be part of the administrative services. And then you're going to have the administration. And that is obviously going to be part of the administrative services. So let's move down. And we're going to have admin here. And under the administration is going to be all the other services that are going to put out in the equal layer. So first you're going to have informational services. So the info people are going to be your admissions, billing, HR, and records people. And then you're going to have therapeutic. Now, therapeutic are your treatment people. And this is where the sports medicine stuff is going to fall in. So So let's write PT, OT, AT. You're gonna have your nurse, doctor, and then there's going to be the diagnostic services. Now, this is probably the easiest to remember, but they diagnose diseases. They help to diagnose. So what does that mean? Well, we have radiology, imaging staff that are going to be like your cardiology, your specialized healthcare too, because they don't have continuous care. You have your lab people, and then there's going to be your pathologists. And then finally, there's going to be the support system. The support system is going to support the entire hospital. Which is going to be central supply, right? Biomed. Now let's do a drawing for this. You're going to be asked to do a drawing. So first we can draw, let's say we draw an ecosystem, right? The administrative services could be like the sun. They're going to be providing the UV light, the stuff that powers everything else, the policies, because without the sun, you can't have the rest of the ecosystem working. So we can say the sun is gonna be admin. Okay, and then informational services could be like the tree that's gonna be broken down into paper. But the tree could be like informational services, because let's say somebody wrote XOXO, I love PHS on it. They created a piece of record, and that is what the informational services are doing. They are taking information and processing it and record keeping it. So that is going to be my informational services. And then there's going to be therapeutic services. So let's say a person goes into this ecosystem and they start cleaning up all the trash on the ground. Then they are going to be our therapeutic services, because they are hands-on to helping this ecosystem be better. So this guy that is super happy because he's doing his job of helping planet Earth is going to be my therapeutic services. And then we have diagnostic services. Now, how would I diagnose an ecosystem? Well, we could have the level of pollution or the water pollution. So we could test the water. And that would help tell us problems within the ecosystem. So the diagnostic services could be the if another guy comes in, or let's say fish, right? If the fish are happy, then that's going to tell me that this ecosystem's water is clean, okay? So the fish are helping me diagnose the success of this ecosystem, maybe. And then I'll say my fish are going to be my diagnostic services. And then finally, I'm going to have my support services. Now, what happens in the support services? Well, they are going to clean the hospital, build, keep housekeeping stuff, and they're going to do the dietary things. They're going to care for the medical machinery. So if I build a machine that's going to, let's say I have a tree here and I put the fertilizer in it. Well, that's my support services. I'm supporting my tree, my flower to grow. So this is not going to be water here. Let's say that this is some grass here. And then I have a beautiful flower that I'm going to make blue. No, it's going to be purple. My beautiful flower. And then I'm going to be putting in different things to help it grow. So what is in fertilizer? Well, there is going to be phosphorus. So let's say I'm putting in phosphorus. Now this is my support services because I'm helping my tree, my flower grow. So those are the services of a hospital, broken down really easy and also created into a symbolic drawing for you. Now you're gonna have to make your own, but this is a really easy representation. So that is organizational structure of a hospital for PHS.